I always love these kind of videos because I feel like it gives you a chance to really hear what my thoughts are on a specific product. And I want to start doing more of these kind of with every category, so stay tuned. But we're going to be doing foundations today, which is what I'm excited about because these are my best foundations. I'm ranking them as well. So I'm really excited to kind of share with you what my #1 foundation currently is. Favorite foundations are always kind of changing, I guess, but you will notice that there always are these kind of like core favorites that are in there. But I really want to explain step by step exactly why these foundations, every single one of them, has been ranked within this top 10, but also why it is so good. At number 10, we've got RMS Beauty Uncover Up Cream Foundation. The only reason this is at number 10 is because it is quite a heavy foundation and I am still kind of getting used to the smell of it. It's not like a fragrancy smell at all. It's actually just more of a, how can I put this, old closet smell. It's really bizarre. So I'm really not feeling the smell of this, but it is such an amazing foundation. So the best thing that I can tell you about this is that it will literally cover up anything. And if you do see that there are any foundations that are not in this list that, you know, you hear me talking about a lot that I love, it's purely because these are kind of like, I would say, the ones that I'm rotating with currently. So yeah, I do love this foundation. My shade currently is 55, which is quite dark for me at the moment still, but I feel like I have to lighten it up with a bit of concealer. So I do feel like I probably need a shade lighter than this, but I can make this work. It is a very thick foundation, but you get a whole load of foundation in here. And I think that's another thing that I really love about this is that they really have not kind of, I mean, it's a bit messy. That's another reason it's at number 10. But it has this kind of like little spatula that you can mix it with. So you can just like literally just mix the whole foundation, which I don't even know if it's for that, but I just feel like you really need to end up doing that because it's kind of like this souffle foundation. So it can end up looking a bit funny if you don't mix it. So I like to use the spatula just to kind of like mix it around and just get it kind of all looking a little bit better. But it can be a bit of a messy foundation. Like I feel like every time I open this foundation, it just gets everywhere on my hands. It's like I get it on my face, but it's just everywhere else as well. So it's one of those foundations that I just feel like you can't have it all, right? It gives you the most amazing coverage, but it just doesn't smell great and is very messy. But otherwise, I feel like this will literally cover up anything. So moving on, at number 9, we've got the Charlotte Tilbury Beautiful Skin Foundation. I feel like it took me a while to kind of get used to this foundation. I don't know what it was. I think maybe because I didn't like her other Airbrush foundation because I feel like that kind of changes color over time on my skin. So I was a bit kind of like maybe not giving it a full go when I first started using it, but actually whenever I use this foundation I always get compliments and I do really like it. I guess it's at number 9 because there are others that are kind of better than it. The only thing that I feel like maybe doesn't always sit right with me is because when you kind of use it, the texture is quite gunky, like it's not so fluid. It's quite a quick, like thick liquid foundation that comes out. It's not that I dislike that, but it just feels a bit heavy, but it actually doesn't look so heavy on your skin. So it's just that kind of, I guess, more of a sensory thing, you know, like how you feel it, and that's it. But my shade is 7 Neutral, and this is great for me when I have kind of like a medium tan, so like a little bit lighter than now. I feel like it gives you a really healthy finish to your skin. I do feel like it can end up looking a little bit shiny later in the day, but I genuinely feel like this gives you the most amazing finish to your skin. I do find it a little bit hard to keep it super matte throughout the day, which I think, like I said, like when I mentioned that it does get a little bit shiny later in the day, I do feel like that's more so if you have combination to oily skin. Like sometimes I feel like my skin is quite matte generally because maybe I'm using retinol and then it kind of doesn't shine up through the day as much. But if I'm not using my retinol and my skin, I'm on a normal skin routine, I feel like it really does end up shining later in the day. So I prefer using this foundation when I am using my retinol because I feel like it just gives you that kind of beautiful skin look throughout the entire day as opposed to just the first half of the day. So I would highly recommend using a mattifying primer under that because it is not as easy to, it doesn't stay as matte as what some other foundations do. Next, moving to number 8 is the KVD Good Apple foundation. I've loved this foundation for a long time, ever since it came out. I think it's a great foundation. I do feel like over time I've realized that it maybe does dull out a little later in the day, more so on me when I'm tanned. If I'm not tanned, I don't have that problem. So I think that's more of a me problem than the foundation problem. But I do love this foundation. My shade is Tan 066 and it is the most amazing color for my tan, and I just lighten it up with a shade lighter if I need to when I'm not tanned. But I feel like this covers everything, but it also does stay put all day. Like, I never have a problem with this foundation. I feel like it gives me the coverage that I want. It ticks every box that I want it to tick. I probably don't get compliments on this foundation, weirdly, because I love it so much. So I kind of assume that, okay, people are going to love this too, like how it looks on the skin. Actually, it's normally the foundations that I feel are not going to get me the compliments that do end up giving me the compliments. So I don't know what that is. I'm obviously seeing things differently to others, but I actually love this foundation. I feel like if you really focus on hydrating your skin underneath, you're going to get an amazing finish with this. I personally wouldn't apply this with a sponge. I would actually use a brush to really buff it into the skin on very well hydrated and primed skin. That's the only thing I would say. You want to make sure your skin is perfectly primed underneath and very hydrated underneath, because otherwise this cannot be the greatest finish or like application for people with dry skin or flaky skin. At number 7 is the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. This is a really nice foundation. My shade is 10.5 and I love the subtle kind of glow that this gives your skin. It's almost like a kind of lit from within kind of glow to your skin. It just looks very slightly glistening, like slightly, but not like it has kind of shimmer particles or anything. It's very, very subtle. It's genuinely like a really just lit from within glow, like I mentioned. Like, I feel like this, it makes you want to ditch the powder because your skin looks so good with the foundation before you've even put the powder on. You know, sometimes you put foundation on and you're like, okay, not liking it right now, but once I put the powder on, it's all gonna look good. Well, I feel like this looks good without the powder, like it genuinely does. As I'm going along, I'm just reminding myself what the texture's like, because honestly, this foundation gives you the most flawless finish to your skin. It just looks so good and it doesn't look dull. It just ticks every box. And I guess illuminating is the word that I was looking for. It's quite illuminating to your skin, but not in a heavy way. Like, if you normally prefer matte makeup, I feel like if you want that slight good skin, healthy skin glow without it being over the top, then this is a foundation for you. It's honestly such a good foundation, and it looks so good when you apply it either with a damp sponge or even a brush. I love using it with a kind of like oval brush, like something like this kind of shape, and then just kind of like patting it onto the skin. At number 6 is the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation. You've probably heard a lot about this foundation because I feel like a lot of people love this foundation, and with good reason. It's quite a fluid foundation, but I do feel like I've seen some reviews of people saying that they don't like the application. Like, I would say it's quite a thickish kind of formula. So when you apply it, I feel like you need to make sure that you have primed your skin light properly and you have really hydrated underneath. If you're gonna go in with a mattifying primer, I feel like you might not like this, because I personally feel like I prefer going for more of a hydrating primer underneath this. This does give you a really kind of like, again, a very illuminating foundation without the kind of like sparkle or shimmer particles in there. It is a very healthy looking foundation on your skin. I personally prefer the look of it when you apply it with a brush. My shade is Aruba, but when I'm not tanned, it's usually Barcelona, so it really depends, and sometimes I kind of mix the two together. It's a really easy foundation. It's something that I feel like you're gonna find your shade, it's gonna give you great coverage, and obviously every foundation looks a little bit different when you start kind of like applying your concealer and everything, but I'm going purely based on the foundation, not necessarily what it looks like with concealer. But honestly, I feel like the Nars Light Reflecting Foundation is, I don't know whether some people prefer the Sheer Glow foundation, but I actually prefer the Light Reflecting foundation over the Sheer Glow. I actually think that this is a better foundation than the Sheer Glow, and it actually does give you really good coverage with or without concealer. At number 5, we've got my trusted Dior Forever Matte Foundation. This is an amazing foundation. What can I say about this? I've loved it ever since it was released. My shade is 3W. It is an amazing foundation. You have this in Forever Matte and Forever Glow, so you can get that nice glowy finish as well. I personally prefer the matte. I just feel like if I ever want a look which is going to last me the entire day, entire night, gonna stay matte, not gonna make my skin look horrendous just because I've had foundation on all day, then this is the one that's gonna do it, because it has skin loving ingredients in there, so it really does look after your skin. I'm not too fussed about foundation making my skin better over time because I have my skincare for that. But the fact that it has these ingredients in there means that it isn't gonna ruin my skin while I do have it on. So that's all that I can ask for really when I'm wearing a foundation. And if I can get that, then that's amazing. I'm not gonna rely on my makeup to do what my skincare is meant to do. But what I do want is for my skin to not be dropping down a level in terms of like quality because of my makeup. And I feel like this really does help with that, because sometimes when you have a foundation on all day, you have that horrible feeling and that look where it's like, ugh, you've had that on maybe overnight or something, you know, it just looks really, really nasty. Your foundation will never look like that with this. And that's what I love about this. Plus I love the fact that it is kind of like, it has SPF in here. I can't remember how much. Oh, SPF 20. And the coverage is amazing. I do like to ensure that I do kind of like hydrate my skin underneath, but I do feel like even though this is a matte foundation, it is pretty good for every kind of skin type. Like I don't feel like it's been a problem when I have like slightly drier skin or I'm quite dehydrated. It still does look good. At number 4, we've got my Haus Labs Triclone or Triclone, however you say that, Skin Tech Foundation. My shade is 300 Medium Neutral. I've loved this ever since you guys recommended this to me. So the last time, I think it was the last time I was in New York or maybe the time before, you guys recommended I pick up one of these and I did. And it is amazing. I really do love it. It's just a really good all-rounder. Like when it comes to a foundation that ticks every box, it isn't too heavy, it looks natural on my skin, but it doesn't look like I'm wearing too much or I'm not wearing enough. It just kind of like fits really nicely in the middle, and the color's great on me, and I feel like it's a really decent size, so I'm getting a decent amount, and I like the bottle. I just like everything about it. I feel like if I want that normal everyday look, then that's the foundation I go for. Like if I just want it, like ease of application, like decent coverage, I don't have to work too hard to apply it or blend it, then that's my foundation. It really doesn't matter whether you apply it with a brush or a sponge. It's like you can do anything with it, and that's what I love about that. It's just a very good all-rounder. Moving on to number 3, my favorite foundation here is the Christian Louboutin foundation. It's the Fluid Foundation. My shade is 35 NO, which is neutral olive, and this is an amazing foundation. This is the little mini one because obviously I got sent the PR box. So the big size one, the full size one that they sent wasn't my color, but I managed to find it out of all the little mini ones, which is this. And oh my God, what an amazing foundation. The coverage is absolutely amazing. I didn't think I was gonna like this foundation, and I actually didn't want to because it's Christian Louboutin. Not that I don't like Christian, I love Christian Louboutin shoes for the look, not so much for how they feel on the feet. I love the shoes, I love the look, and I kind of felt like I was kind of approaching this in the same way. Like any of my Christian Louboutin shoes that I have are so painful, it's ridiculous. Like I will never ever wear them if I need to actually walk. Like it's bad enough having to walk to the car. Like if I'm gonna sit, stay there, get up, go back home, then that's fine just about. But I kind of approached this in the same way where I was like, is this really gonna actually be that good, or is it just the hype? It really lived up to the hype. It really is an amazing foundation. It gives you that genuine lit from within glow. Like your skin is glistening with this. It isn't a super matte finish. So like it's matte in the sense of like, it's not gonna look shiny. You're not gonna touch it and get a whole load off, but it does give you that glistening finish to your skin. That's the best way that I can describe the finish, but it really, really does look amazing. Like honestly, this is such a good product. I feel like you guys need to try it at least once. At number 2, a very new entry that I'm loving, so currently I'm loving it, is the Huda Beauty Easy Blur Natural Airbrush Foundation. I wish the bottle was a little bit bigger, that's the only thing, because I feel like this is gonna kind of like finish way sooner than most of my other foundations. As you've seen, they're pretty big. This is pretty small in comparison, but my shade is Toffee 420G. I do like the fact that this has niacinamide in here, which is great for the skin. But again, I'm not too fussed about this doing any dramatic dramatic, like giving me any dramatic changes with my skin. It's more so the finish that I want, and I just don't want it to ruin my skin. This gives you an amazing finish to your skin. It's a great everyday foundation, but I do feel like you can wear it in the evening too. It isn't heavy at all. It's honestly it's light as air. It's so ultra light on your skin, not heavy, doesn't cake up. You can mattify it. It's not going to shine or get greasy through the day. I did a wear test with this foundation recently, went to the salon, had my hair washed, there was hair blow dryers like everywhere, and it was hot and everything, and I thought I was going to look a mess by the time I got home and had to film the kind of review and my thoughts in it. But when I got home, I was so shocked. I was like, this still looks so good. It still looks as good as what it did when I first put it on. So this is a foundation I think is actually worth the money. When it comes to how much is in here, I wish there was more again, but I guess only time is going to tell with how long that actually lasts, so I will keep you updated with that. But that's a really, really good foundation. At my number one spot is my TIRTIR Mask Fit Red Cushion Foundation. So my shade is 29N Natural Beige. I do kind of use 30N Rich Honey sometimes if I'm like really tanned, so I'm not using that now. It's a bit dark for me at the moment. But oh my god, what a foundation. This foundation I genuinely thought is just going to be the hype. I really tried not to fall into this whole hype of this foundation. When I see things trending on like TikTok or YouTube or whatever, I'm kind of like, okay, is this just people are just jumping on the hype, people are just jumping on the trend, and it's not really going to be that good. It's probably just like very short-lived. I caved, and oh my god, it is amazing, and I'm actually so shocked it is. It's a very good foundation. I don't know how long this would actually last, because obviously this is still quite new, but it's like this cushion foundation, and you just press in. You've got this applicator here that you can use, and you can use like this side just to like take it off, and I think that's pretty good as a palette. But it absolutely looks amazing on the skin. Honestly, it gives you the most flawless finish. It lasts all day. It literally feels like you're wearing nothing. When you're applying it, you're kind of shocked as you're applying it, because as you're applying it, you're kind of like, where is this even coming from? Because this feels like I'm just putting air on my face. It doesn't feel like, it feels like water. That's what it feels like, not air. It feels like water. Like it's so just like this feeling of water, and you're like, this isn't gonna stay on my skin. And it does, and it just looks amazing, and the most flawless finish ever, and it doesn't look heavy. So that's my favorite foundation currently. I think it's absolutely amazing. It is worth the hype. I'm not just saying it. I would quite happily use this on clients. I actually think it would look amazing on clients. Hopefully you found one of your favorites within this top 10. I think I'm gonna do a top 10 concealer, you know, like ranking my concealers like from 10 to 1 and see which one is the best, because I feel like I need to sit down and kind of like go through them. But let me know if you want to see this about any other category, by the way. I did say I'm going to do it anyway, but if there's any one that you want to see first, let me know. Like anything when it comes to like face powders, blushers, lipsticks, lip liners, mascaras, primers, whatever it is, let me know in the comments box below. Don't forget, everything is listed in my description below, so you can just head on over, click on the link, and it will take you straight to it. Also, don't forget that I do have an online publication called The Beauty Breakfast Club. We're building a really nice community over there, and I'd love for you guys to come and join and show some support there. So basically, it's an online magazine, so I write all of the articles on there myself. We have a minimum of 3 that go out every week. And you have 2 types of subscription. So one is free, which gives you access to most of the site. The other is paid, which gives you access to the entire site, including a chat room where me and you can chat along with the other paid subscribers. Hopefully head on over and show some support. I do also have another YouTube channel, which is a podcast channel, which I host with my husband. Very real, relatable. I think you're gonna enjoy it, and you can have some laughs too, and just see what we're like behind the scenes. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell button so that you never miss any of my future videos. Until the next video, take care, and I'll see you soon.